The other 3 losses were in the first round. So they're getting even more dominant as time comes along. And obviously this round hasn't finished, but they only have 2 matches left. So.
This one and the match against Bro.
Yeah, the kicker, the final one. What it all comes down to. And after Bro lost to DRX, they're probably going to win against Gen.G.
I don't know if I agree with that sentiment, but I do understand what you're saying. If we're believing in curses and all that.
It just, you know, you cast the LCK for long enough, you start to believe in weird things.
Yeah, no, I thought you guys were never going to get me. Chronicler I think he's been gotten a long time ago. He just lies to everyone about it. He's like, curses aren't real.
He's just in denial.
As he grips his chair tightly.
They can't be. It's not possible.
They can't hurt me.
If I say they're not real, they're definitely not real.
Let's index into this draft a little bit now, as we do see an Azir ban towards Chovy, even with no Talia ban. So that's interesting. The Gwen makes sense, and Keen has been one of his best picks. The Pantheon is the most impactful jungler right now, so taking that away from Canyon, who might be the best jungler at this moment in time with some of the performances we've seen from Owner recently, is a wise choice. And that final ban, we'll see what this ends up being here. I don't think you want to first pick Talia necessarily in this draft. It'll be Poppy that gets taken away. This pick has been so successful. It's even successful for Bro initially, as they're just going to deny the Nidalee. By the way, Nidalee's win rate just goes up. Like, I remember when it was like 56, I was like, that's pretty high. And it was like, you know, 65, I'm like, well, that's really high. We're like pushing 80.
There was a time we were at like 88, I think, when it was like 13-1 or something ridiculous. I mean, it's still insanely high for a champion that's only getting played more and more. But yeah, having a champ that gets played this much and is that high is not okay.
The Xin Zhao makes sense. We'll see if Chovy just wants to grab the Talia. Even though there's no Azir on the other side, it's still a strong pick when you get the Xin Zhao here. They're going to index into the Rumble, though, instead. Like that Rumble pick for Keen, get a little prio on the top side.
No Yone ban.
Yeah, and weaken also the Nidalee top pick, so this is definitely going jungle now.
Yeah. BD definitely has played a good amount of Yone in the past. I think if you pick it here, it allows you to take it away from Chovy in the future.
Yeah.
And it's also great with your AP jungler. It just feels like this makes sense. When I saw the Ornn, I had a moment of pause, like maybe they're not going to, but...
Yeah, because the Ornn doesn't necessarily work well with it, but it works incredibly well with the Nidalee, as you mentioned. That was kind of what I had in mind as well. It's rare for it to be open, but if Chovy gets his hands on it in this draft, it is a disaster for you as well. So I do think this is a wise option. We see so much Ahri. Right now, she is incredibly powerful. She's got a below 50% win rate because everyone is picking her. And we've seen her picked in situations where she's left open when there's not a lot of synergy in the draft and she doesn't find success there. But this is a perfectly fine angle for it, and it can be a very strong matchup into the Yone. Kai'Sa taken away. It's a little bit puzzling to me. We'll maybe get some more information of when the rest of the draft comes through as to why that might be. Really might just be looking for an Ezreal pick, for example, which does make sense. But we don't have all the info just yet. Might mean an Ezreal ban does come out in that final spot for KT Rolster. The Kalista is gone. Varus is still up. So, you know, you could ban that as well if you really want to make the Ezreal pick feel safe for Ruler. Considering a support ban, though, it looks like. Nope. Maybe. Ezreal going to be taken away, so... Interesting.
What are we playing here, Ruler? He's liked his Jhin. I mean, a lot of our top 80 carries have liked their Jhin. It definitely feels like fantastic setup with Rumble. You know, Jhin Rumble. A lot of pick potential. Can be pretty weak against the Ornn, though.
Yeah.
A lot of backline dive with that Ornn Yone.
Maybe they were just looking for Lucian Braum, and they felt like that would have been, you know, problematic for them, both of those picks into it. But I'm on board with like one or the other of the Kai'Sa Ezreal, both of them together. It's a little bit unusual. Now the Braum is gone, and the Jhin that you mentioned just feels pretty obvious when you have Ahri Xin Zhao. Now you have Ahri Jin Zhao.
Jin Zhao. Yes.
Which is so scary because you've got a really strong setup. Follow-up is pretty easy. Xayah feels very strong here into the Ahri, but feels very weak into the Jhin in terms of getting in and closing the gap and actually doing that damage. It means that BDD and Cuz are going to have to do a lot of work, a lot of setup, a lot of the legwork for the Xayah, who isn't really in a safe position here. As the crank for Duro.
The crank?
I think with Ornn as a frontliner, I'm not super about that life. I do like the Rel a little bit more. Sets up your equalizers, and now you have both like pick potential with the Ahri, but also hard engage. Even though it's Jhin, and we don't normally say this about Jhin compositions, I feel like Gen.G's comp is extremely well-rounded, whereas KT's composition, like you mentioned, you and I kind of felt like, okay, the Ornn plus the Yone is a little bit weird, but it still can work. But now your late game scaling Xayah that's going to get ornaments isn't necessarily going to be able to do damage with them if she can't close the gap. And yeah, you can ult a Charm, sure. You can get out of a part of the Rel engage and get out of part of the Xin Zhao, but there's just too many things. You know, this is we talk about all the time in the past, like, oh, this is a great Xayah angle because there's so many threats, but you only get one ultimate. And there have been so many good Xayah angles this season where I'm like, yes, this is actually a really good Xayah angle. I feel like this one makes me remember the old ones where I'm like, ooh, it's safe, but for just a second, and then otherwise you struggle, and you're going to struggle into the Jhin. So I like what Gen.G put together here, a lot more Valdez.
Not the first time somebody said that, and I kind of do agree. I think they've landed on something that is very tier listy, but also works very well together. And on this side, I mean, they get a lot of power picks. I think BDD's Yone can certainly shape this game, and I think if they're going to win this game, it's probably going to come through him and Cuz. Also not the first time anyone has said that about KT. As we're ready, game number 1 is loaded up. Let's hop into the Rift. All right, game number 1, KT versus Gen.G.
That's right. I'm glad to see both mid laners are respectful. They know the rules.
Cuz had other ideas.
Yeah, it's all part of the game, but it's not respectful to throw spears like that. But it's okay.
Yeah. We'll forgive you this time, Cuz.
Yeah, I mean, I will, because he didn't hit him, so he's just throwing.
What about this time? Do you forgive him now?
Well, we're out of the, like, hold position in front of each other now.
Minions have spawned.
Yeah. Minions have spawned. We're not hold position dancing and like, you know, doing emotes, so. Well, I mean, BDD and Chovy are doing emotes at each other, but that's a different thing entirely. That spear makes sense. That's why it's the one that hits.
The other ones didn't make sense, so...
Yeah, no, I have really ambiguous rules about what I think is okay, Valdez, and I'm just going to need you to accept it.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. I get it.
Oh, BDD!
Oh! Oh, GG. Oh, that's really unfortunate.
Chovy hits those. Oh,
he knows how to, like... I swear he knows how to, like, auto in between minion hits that look like they're going to hit at the same time. Like, it's definitely possible. Like, I know that you can do that, but, like, he's just so good at it. Maybe that's his secret.
Do you ever feel like, okay, this is crazy. This is just this crazy feeling I have, but sometimes when I'm playing with Legends, you ever feel like the game sometimes forgives you, where, like, you're like, oh, I missed that one, but then you get it anyways? Yeah. And like, I feel like there's like a small forgiveness thing in the code that's like, no, it's, you know, you were close enough, you can have it. Like, I've never even like Googled this. Maybe it's a thing everyone's like, yeah, of course that's the thing, Wolf. But I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like
I would have heard about it.
Chovy knows it if it's real. Is what I'm getting at. Like, Chovy's like, nope.
He knows how to abuse it.
You're like,
nah, I know how to.
You're like, I think he missed that one, and then it's like, pa-ching, and he gets it.
Ooh, I like that charm. And he doesn't even miss the minions. He did miss one, though. I'm not sure which wave it was on. That's all I'm really watching right now. But it's okay, because he's only missed one so far.
Foxfire timing, then the Orb of Deception to harass and also secure the CS between autos.
He's chovying so hard right now.
He is really chovying.
Ahead 7 CS, wow.
He's 50% ahead. At 3 minutes.
Just when you thought the LCK broadcast could not glaze Chovy harder.
Cuz?
It was all a bait all along. But yeah, it's Yone Nidalee, and if Yone does not get the knock-up into a spear, Ahri is never dying.
Perfect is doing a good job in this Ornn Rumble matchup in the top lane. Holding his own up there as, okay.
Mid-trade, he threw out the orb to get the last 2 minions. He's so focused, man. He's so in the zone. We got a little dive brewing here. And let's see who does get the aggro. It is going to go over to Duro, and a ton of damage already comes out. The CC layering was perfect as well. Very clean dive to pick up first blood here for Duro.
You could see that Cuz was heading over, but he's not able to get there in time to affect the play. We're going to stop any subsequent follow-up dives here onto Duckdom, which I don't think Gen.G were really interested in anyways. But that is a kill onto Peter, like you said, that goes to Duro, so not the craziest scenario of all time, but still a small CS lead given over to Ruler in the Chaos as the wave crashes and they look for the dive. So he's generated a significant lead. Also has that assist, of course, even though it was split between 3. Peter's going to try to find something here. Nope, just a charm.
Well, he's going to give the heal to BDD. That must have been what he was going for.
BDD has already used his Unbind, but Duro's not going to go in.
So yeah, we've been having fun watching mid lane quite a lot. I do think, you know, the probably you're going to get early from the Ahri versus Yone is bound to happen. And that does mean that maybe Gen.G can look for this Drake. We do have a trade up on the top side, actually. Fire going both ways as Ornn, a couple more autos, he'll get it. He had to flash, but he flashes late and dives to Duckdom, who wasn't even part of the fight.
That was a bit of a jump scare. I just thought, oh man, Perfect can maybe flash auto him. Let's see how quickly Keen reacts. And then the flash ranged attack is what does him in there from Duckdom. And that's a TP to go back to the top side here from Keen. As still a bit of supportal combat here in mid to see where the lane swaps do end up eventuating. As Canyon, with that prio he has in the bottom lane that they've had this whole time with Ruler, is going to at least be able to get this Drake.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that Duckdom's top 2, it feels like KT knew that they were not going to fight over this Drake, so they just say, well, we'll just give it up.
It's a lane swap bonus, you know? Duckdom's going top side, he gets a huge kill.
Keen does not have flash, and he's very far up the lane and just dies again. So that is going to be now 2 kills to Duckdom.
I mean, he didn't have vision in the river, so he didn't know that was coming, but I think he could have predicted.
And now Ruler is disrespecting the Ornn. It is going to miss, but if that hits...
If that hits, I mean, Perfect has flash. I think Ruler is just dead, 100%. Yeah. And he flashed so early that, like, that was... If Perfect plays that, like, 2% better, I think it's a kill. But end of the day, Ruler will at least be able to thank his lucky stars that he does get out alive, but now is flashless. Is KT a bit of a day out in this one so far? Keen, a little bit of disrespect in the top lane, getting punished.
Yeah, I do feel like Gen.G are not exactly respecting KT very much just yet.
Not true respect.
Yeah.
Not the...
They're also having a day out, but it's the kind where you, like, start early in the day and you're out in the sun all day and you've, like, had a couple of beverages and... Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Which can be fun, but it doesn't win you League of Legends.
Monday is kind of... Or, like, KT's that Monday looming responsibility, you know?
Yeah. All right, nice little unbind there. Going in on to Peter.
Ruler with
taking a bunch of damage.
Assist as well in there, trying to get involved. This game is not really what I had on my expectations after watching the draft, where it's just a 2v2 in mid, as Chovy's putting on so much pressure here. The supports have been surfing through the mid lane this entire time, and the lane swap eventuating in 2 kills for Duckdom in the early game. So draft expectations kind of off the cards here, as Keen still doesn't have flash, but Peter doesn't have ult, though he does have a little bit of extra movement speed with the heal. We're going to see a grub group for Gen.G.
Grub group?
It's a grub group.
A GG?
A group for grubs.
We have generous Giga Chat, but we also have grub group. All right, we got the grub group for the grubs.
Gen.G's grouping faster, man. They're the grub group.
Yeah. Their grub group is better. It is greater. We're going in on to Peter, who does not have that flash, but he is Rakan. So Nice little play. Get some health out. Meanwhile, Perfect's just chunking the turret.
That's what grub groups do. If somebody ever invited you to a grub group, I'm trying to invite my solo queue teammates to when I play jungle, that's generally what's supposed to happen. They never come. They're like, grub group is lame. It's not cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen Duro? Do you see, like, it was his first time in the grub group. He gets a big ult. He wins the fight for him. Come on, group for grubs.
He did zone them out of the grub group.
Yeah.
They were no longer taking any applicants to the grub group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gen.G members owned them. Got
Horn.
again, some assist from the side. Chovy is still Ahri, and barely enough mana to just cast his ult.
I feel like this mid lane is like Marvel versus Capcom. Like it's a 1v1 battle, but you keep throwing out all these,
exactly.
back to 1v1. Oh, boy.
And Chovy is actually smart here. He doesn't have vision. He doesn't know if he could have been dove there, but plays it safe, and then he comes in here and gets all the minions.
I should have said 2x KO. Similar idea, you know? I'm just old.
Yeah.
I'm just old.
True.
He's
got that Unk energy. Ruler, yeah, he's going to heal. He's going to get away.
Yeah, they get a heal. It's a heal in exchange, though, from Peter. Conquer procced. Ruler still interested.
Yeah, he's going to get 4 of those minions from miles away.
This game,
just Jin things.
This game has not really given a lot of time to breathe. I'm like, every second, someone's almost dying. Skill sets are always flying. It's only a 3-kill game, but a lot of pressure on by the supports and the junglers in this game to look for any possible angle. Everyone's having a big amount of action all the time, even though it's not leading to kills necessarily. Second dragon is up. Gen.G have a ward in the tri-brush below the pit, as well as a control ward in the pit itself. And Chovy just TP'd back to lane. Should be able to come over here and help Canyon start this one up. But he's doing Raptors, in fact, and Chovy's not holding a ton of prio right now. He's charms, man.
Yeah. You know, if you're going to dash forward in a straight line towards the Ahri, can be a bit predictable, but Chovy has been on the money with those every single time.
And just keeps you from taking too many bad trades.
Yeah, Ruler does not have Flash, but he does have a team.
He's got Swifties.
Yeah. And now they are looking for Cuz, who is not in a good spot. And over the wall goes Duro, and this time his engage will amount to a kill.
Yeah, so KT didn't know that Duro's also in the Group for Dragons club. Group for Dragon.
There has to be a word for group that starts with D, right?
Give me a second.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing. Dragon. Drag him to Dragon.
Dragon Dungeon?
No.
It's just not hitting. It's not good.
Well, anyway, he's in the club Group for Dragon.
The club named Group for Dragon.
Yeah, Group for Dragon. Or otherwise known as Dragon Doers. And they do Dragon, and he goes, and he's able to play through vision there. With Cuz looking for the angle. He's like, maybe I'll hit the spear onto the Jin that's walking towards me for some reason. Boom.
Yeah.
That's when Duro appears. Flash Magnet Storm.
From the group of Dragon Doers.
Yes. Dragon doing dudes. He's one of them. And Gen.G end up getting all 3 grubs and both dragons. At the end of the day, they are the kings of objectives. Ruler and Canyon first getting their completed items here. Now catching up with Cuz and Duckdom, who had a significant lead earlier on in this game. And it's Hextech Soul. So you got 3 grubs for side lane power, turret destruction, 2 dragons into Hextech Soul. KT, though, 200 gold lead.
They are in the lead when it comes to the gold.
How much more gold can they get off of potentially killing someone here? Nothing, because they can't kill him. Because he's being respectful and he walks away.
What about the potential? You know, that has value too. It's like a stock option, right? You have the potential to buy or sell it in the future. It has value.
Would have been 300 gold plus assist gold split between the amount of killers.
Why don't they earn any money for having the potential for the dive, you know? That would be very realistic.
Yeah. Too bad.
Yeah. It just ends up being actually to your detriment generally. If you spend a lot of time looking for a dive and you don't get a dive, actually you don't get any value. So you just fall behind a little bit. They haven't fallen behind necessarily.
Yeah, no, not in
They
gold.
still have that 200 gold lead.
Yeah, they still got it.
Yeah.
Canyon put some pressure on here.
There's a guy in our jungle trying to steal the blue buff, and he hasn't given up.
Duro's also in the red buff Raiders club.
Uh-oh, Duck Tom going in. He's in range this time, and Ruler is just running really fast in a straight line.
Thought we might see an exchange of flashes.
But that would have been good for Duck Tom, honestly, to trade with Jin, but...
So, what other clubs is Duro in, man? He shows up to every single tussle, and he's threatening engages, his flash is back up.
Nice, looking for another engage. Eager engagers.
I did see, I saw in the yearbook, in Duro's yearbook, that he was in the Ward Wardens Club.
The Ward Wardens?
Yeah, he's...
that sounds like a really fun club.
He's known to contest wards with teammates that do join him for such endeavors. All right, Chovy has his Malignance done.
I think that first series kind of killed us.
Yeah, no.
I think we're done.
This is some good gameplay, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna hold it together.
Okay.
That's my promise.
You do that. I can't promise the same. Peter is fine.
Duro is, you know, and again, looking for an engage angle here. BDD is super deep. He is in trouble.
Yeah, we got Shinzao here. Canyon elects not to block it, even with his ult and flash available. They want to turn on to Perfect instead, who is Ornn. And you know what? With enough CC, they can get that job done. They say, you know, let's just start from the front, and then we'll go to the back. And now Canyon's going to use his ult. Peter in a lot of trouble here, although Chovy in a bit as well. But it was a bait all along as Cuz goes in, and he will go down immediately as now the engage comes in on a BDD, who is not going to get away. And we still have Jin ultimate. And one more shot will do it. He's not going to hit either of those, but it's fine. He's got Duro, who is emoting under the turret, and Gen.G Tika Master.
So they do get the Herald as well. On top of all of this, all of the kills, it looked so good for KT until it didn't. And BDD, you know, he gets out of the initial exchange because the block doesn't happen for Canyon. But unfortunately for Perfect, man, he didn't know, but I knew. I actually saw it. It was in my data packet earlier. That Duro's a former member of the Teleport in Tandem club, so he knows actually how to...
Teleport Timmies?
He knows how to teleport, engage in tandem with the teleports, so that's how he was able to block Perfect there. He doesn't end up going down as he joins late. Yeah. Perfect didn't know.
Yeah, well, Peter's dead. Very sad. Nobody wanted to see that. But it's reality, and that means that Gen.G is going to take down the Drake. And this is quickly turning into Gen.G, who a little bit of a slow start, but they didn't lose a beat. They didn't skip a beat.
No, they certainly didn't. And I think it goes back to the draft for me a lot. Like, you know, this Rel pick is doing everything, and then the follow-up from long range from Ruler, the Chovy engage, the engage from Canyon. It has both damage, but also insane power from so far away. And when you can read the map as well as Gen.G, it is really easy to get those punish catches. I mean, there were some mistakes from Keen, but that alone isn't going to win you a game. It's 2 kills on a Rumble. And you're going to have to play the map a little bit better. Peter's looking for some good engages. It's not even like he's having a bad game. It's just that Duro having a little bit more impactful of one right now.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. You're going to be playing out of your mind, but sometimes the enemy team is just better. And we already have objective bounties here in this game.
Kind of crazy.
Duro, he is alone, and he's just going to flash away. Gets actually the ult out of BDD as well.
Yeah, he was actually top 5 in the Engage Escape Room club there as well.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so it's known to get out of those, as it turns out, a bit slippery on the Rel. So gets BDD's ultimate and casually goes away.
Yeah, he seems to have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah,
it's almost like he's been in that room before.
Yeah, he's just a multifaceted kind of guy. He's seen a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's experienced a lot. He is the least experienced player on his team, which is kind of scary to think about.
He saw enough in Challengers. You know, like if you play in Challengers for long enough. Speaking of which, Duckdom may have seen some things in Challengers himself that allows him to get out of that, and he just utilizes the walk strategy. Chovy's going to miss everything.
It happens. Now, we already mentioned that he's part of the red buff Raiders, but hasn't spawned yet, so he's...
That's also not the red buff, but...
Yeah. But
he is part of the red buff
Yeah,
Raiders.
but red buff Raiders can also raid blue buffs. You clearly
can they?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
It's the red buff Raiders.
Yes, but like they can also raid blue buffs. Like I said earlier, why do you think I mentioned it when they were raiding the blue buff earlier?
Yeah, I just didn't think it was possible.
You just thought I said the wrong thing trying to make an alliteration, didn't you?
Yes.
You didn't know.
Definitely.
You clearly weren't part of the red buff Raiders.
Yeah,
the red buff Raiders is we also raid blue buff.
Yeah, I didn't specifically want to join that club.
Chovy's second item is completed. He already has the shred. I don't know.
Chovy beginning to innovate again. Now everybody's just going to build it every single game. You know this is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Because Chovy built it, it's like, oh, well, now this is the build. We're going to see it in LEC, like, this weekend. They're going to be like, you know what? Chovy played that, so it must be good.
Honestly, it seems pretty good, to be frank with you, Valdez, but I think you kind of have to have a pretty significant lead and really good coordination and a strong team to back you up in order to make it work, but...
He's not even that far ahead.
No, it's like 700 gold. It's like, for Chovy, that's quite low.
Yeah. Gen.G as a team are almost 5,000 gold ahead.
Yes,
at
that
20 minutes.
That part is pretty problematic for KT Rolster right now.
Still have the Rift Herald, and they're just going to throw that into mid. Canyon is under no danger here, even with everybody here. And the Spear's not going to hit. The turret's going to go down as well. Chovy looks for it, gets Duckdom, gets the cleanse out. And now will he go for the follow-up engage? BDD goes in, but he's just kind of dying at the same time. As now the full engage comes in from Duro. The follow-up not quite there, but now the Jill over the top is going to get the snipe. And meanwhile, down goes the Rakan. BDD barely lives. As we got another route here, it is turning into a slaughter from Gen.G.
Yeah, unfortunately, Peter's attempt to save the play there with his ult is just not good enough. And I think that was what KT was really trying for, but Keen's ultimate gets a decent amount of work done, and just 2 kills. They don't get the inner turret, but they have their eyes on a bigger prize here in the Otacon. As the charge comes through, the turret lives, and then this is a moment where you see Peter look for the turn, misses the knock-up onto Chovy, though, and Canyon is Jinzhao. And then they kind of just stick around as Keen shows up and says, all right, well, they're all burning now. Perfect solo ults Chovy when the fight is lost. As Canyon gets into the backline here and takes BDD down to like 2% health. And that's Herald, or sorry, Otacon through Herald.
We got a little play in the bottom lane here. Duro might be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see if that escape room experience can help him out. He is going to live. And now the follow-up is coming through. A little bit of a TP, but a bit far away from the play. So not going to be able to force it here. Gen.G. Keen now down his teleport.
Yeah, he made a club for dodging called the Dodging Duros.
Ah, okay.
So he dodged.
After joining so many clubs, he made his own club.
Yeah, he wanted one.
They're engaging on a canyon for some reason. I don't know why they would do that. This deep in the jungle on top of an equalizer.
Oh, God, Valdez.
Cover your eyes. This is not safe.
I think KT are ready for game 2.
It's Hextech Soul, guys. Only 2 minutes.
Can Hextech Soul allow Duro to keep BDD in place?
Can Duro solo BDD?
Not quite. I don't think he was in that club, but...
Chovy has 0 kills, by the way. Just want to say slacking. I'm not very impressed.
009.
Yeah.
And it's not James Bond's number.
No, it's not. Trying to kill Ruler here. I think BDD, that was really his only objective, but he might live because of the disengage cone. Yep. I'm glad that was there. You know, you utilized that so well. He was planning for it all along. That's why it was there.
Yeah. Duro wants more. He's clearing this ward. We'll fight for ward clears as I described earlier.
He's the ward warden.
Yeah, he's known for that. He was the top ward warden in his high school. He was very extracurricular. As Chovy doesn't go for it. Could have tried to go for a fun play there, but it is Rakan who would have been doing it into. This is like, okay, I get it. Ruler is, look at where Ruler is on the mini-map. Rel is not here. So you're like, okay, surely 4v1.
Nope.
But it's not a 4v1, that's the problem. It's like, yeah, quick Canyon could ult, but we'll still get him. No. KT. KT.
Yeah.
No, I think KT feeling the frustration.
What goes up must come down.
Just kind of like their goal difference over time.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, last week they did win 2 series in 2-1 fashion. So I think after that good week, you know, unfortunate timing to hit Gen.G. If they had lost to BNK, dude, we'd be singing a different tune. But that is not the case here. VDD is going to snap back. We have the Ornn for disengage. Don't see that every day, as now the follow-up comes in from Chovy. We do see the Featherstorm, but he immediately dies after the Featherstorm. And the Xayah does not really help herself at all. It's just a clean ace. Everybody dies. The game is over. They still have Hextech Soul. Let's go next.
Yeah, I think I'm personally ready to move to game 2. I think KT, all 5 members probably at this point are ready as well.
You're a game 2 timer?
Yeah, actually there was a game 2 earlier, and there's going to be another one now.
Yeah, exactly. We almost had a game 4. That was crazy.
Pretty insane performance from everyone here on Gen.G, but got to give Duro a big shout out as Peter's trying to slow this one down.
Oh, they almost got Keen.
Almost.
Yeah. Keen was the only person who died in this game for Gen.G. 19-2 is going to be the, actually 20-2. It's going to be the final score. Gen.G make it quick and painless. And Canyon against the zoom in.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying this was going to be a repeat of KT stopping Gen.G's streak.